Improving the performance of the water and sanitation sector in Africa was the theme of the 77th session of the Scientific and Technical Council of the African Water Association, AfWA. The aim being for professionals in the water, sanitation and hygiene sector to discuss the different issues encountered by African water and sanitation companies in order to find solutions. A 4-day meeting with activities, high-level panel, lecture series, workshops and exhibitions.
The objective
of the Scientific and Technical Council was to reflect on these aspects of performance improvement. Today, we'll look at the way societies are organized. They all want to improve their performance, but they are looking for ways to do so. And the African Water Association is working hard on these aspects to first define the performance of societies, which indicators are the most important and what actions need to be taken to improve these different performances. We can talk about unbilled water, we can talk about water quality, we can even talk about the maintenance actions of the network, and all this requires capacity building at the level of companies, programs that can help better manage the equipment they have, to better manage what they have as activities, and to ensure that these companies improve their performance, and all this for the well-being of the populations.
Established in 1980, the AfWA is increasingly positioning itself as the key partner for improving the performance of water and sanitation companies in Africa. About 4 decades after its creation, it claims nearly 150 members, including operators in the water and sanitation sector, suppliers of equipment and services, as well as personalities from the sector. With its programs such as AfriCap, Rise Up Africa, and Afri Alliance, based on sharing experiences, best practices, and training, the AfWA contributes to the improvement of capacities and contributes to making societies more competitive in a dynamic of sharing knowledge. This is the very issue for the Scientific and Technical Council of the AfWA, which is held on average 2 to 3 times a year.
In general, the Scientific and Technical Council is a tool of the African Water Association whose purpose is to mobilize the water and sanitation operators in Africa and around specific themes.
Des thématiques spécifiques. Et pour ce 77e Conseil scientifique et technique, dont le thème
for the 77th Scientific and Technical Council, whose theme is improving the performance of the water sector in Africa, it is a matter of sharing with the actors around the factors that make it possible to improve performances.
Qui permettent d'améliorer les performances.
The CST meeting in Accra follows the one held in Rabat, Morocco, in February 2017. The Accra meeting provided an opportunity to synergize various skills and expertise with more than 220 delegates from 30 countries to reflect on the issues of improving access to water and quality sanitation, a question that has not yet been answered. In developing countries in general and in Africa in particular, access to adequate sanitation remains a luxury for a large segment of the population. Thus, 2.4 billion people around the world, including 700 million in sub-Saharan Africa, do not have improved sanitation facilities. In order to remedy this situation, the AfWA has been implementing since 2016 the financial support of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the capacity building program for autonomous sanitation operators, and the sludge management in Africa, Rise Up. The 3-year Rise Up is implemented in 5 countries: Mali, Côte d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Uganda, and Zambia.
L'objectif est d'aider les pays qui ont été sélectionnés dans le cadre du projet.
The objective is to help countries that have been selected under the Rise Up project to improve the conditions of autonomous sanitation. We realize that in Africa, almost 92% of people are using autonomous sanitation. They use individual facilities to take care of the waste that is generated in the home. From this point of view, we realize that despite this very high number, initiatives are not being taken on a continent-wide scale to help the system in a better way and in better conditions.
À l'échelle du continent, pour un peu aider à ce que ce système fonctionne dans les meilleures conditions.
It is estimated that approximately 2,200 children die daily due to diarrheal diseases related to inadequate sanitation and poor hygiene. This situation needs to be improved.
The remediation solution we have today do not completely eliminate pathogens and make feces content more hygienic. So very often you'll find several communities with soiled water, with streets that are soiled, children with diarrhea, and unfortunately who die from it. There are 4.4 billion people who do not have adequate solutions, and this creates infant mortalities every year. At least 800,000 children under the age of 5. This is a very serious scourge that we can address if we are able to address the issue of sanitation.
Thanks to the RAZA program, the issue of sanitation, but also the presence of sanitation stakeholders in these exchange sessions, is much more highlighted.
Au niveau de l'assainissement au Mali, où on était un peu à la traîne.
In terms of sanitation in Mali, where we are a little bit behind because our sanitation services were not members of the AfWA at the beginning, but we fought today, and since then we have had Mali sanitation companies that participated. We have CSTs from Ghana, we have the National Directorate of Sanitation Control of Nuisance Production, and Mali has also been supported through a program called the RAZOB as part of the sanitation project. And among the 5 African countries, Bamako, through an agency of management of sewage treatment, Mali was able to benefit from this program. All this gives us a good visibility at the continental and international level in the field of water and sanitation of Mali.
Une bonne visibilité sur le domaine de l'eau et de l'assainissement du Mali.
The U.S. Agency for International Development, one of the financial partners of the AfWA, plans to mobilize more resources for the sanitation sector.
Par rapport au financement de l'USAID sur le secteur,
compared to USAID funding for the water and sanitation sector, this varies from country to country, and the amounts fluctuate from year to year depending on the fiscal year.
Les années budgétaires. Nous avons beaucoup achevé cette dernière décennie.
We have done a great deal in the last decade to make the African population more accessible to water, and so now we have to tackle the problem of sanitation where progress has been less. I believe that over the coming years there will be more funding for sanitation projects.
Davantage de financement sur les projets assainissement.
L'Association africaine de l'eau veut remettre l'assainissement sur le plus haut niveau.
The African Water Association wants to restore sanitation to the highest level of water sanitation activity in Africa. At this Congress, we will dedicate a full day to the problems of sanitation. We will go into all the details of sanitation, invite all the mayors to a special forum to talk about the problem, because they are the ones who manage the sanitation problems today in various cities. We will also present the new technologies that exist, but we must understand that we are talking about autonomous sanitation, meaning sanitation without networks. More than 80% of our cities treat sanitation in an autonomous way, and just 20% deals with it at network level. It is therefore necessary to examine more closely the management of the discharge ends resulting from this autonomous remediation in a very professional manner.
Des bouts de vidange qui sont issus justement de cet assainissement autonome de manière très professionnelle.
In addition to issues related to water quality and built water and sewage sludge management, the AfWA Scientific Council represents an ideal platform to address issues of resilience and adaptation in the face of the impacts due to climate change on the availability of water resources.
The main goal of AfWA Alliance is for these partners to work together in knowledge sharing and co-creation in order to overcome the impacts of climate change, both at a local and regional level, in Africa and in Europe. So for us, the real important aspect is bringing together stakeholders from across Africa, water operators, focused on a number of different aspects and challenges, and as well as looking to overcome those challenges together.
It was therefore within this framework that a workshop on the identification of needs and resources for dealing with climate change was held during the work of the Accra CST.
So the workshop today was really mainly to try to explore what are the needs of the people participating in this workshop concerning climate change and water-related issues. So we want to map the needs on the whole Africa and Europe context, and that's why it's so important that we are having these kind of workshops here.
Yes, it's been really beneficial. So we've, more specifically, we've been working on a partnership with AfWA to bring technologies into the market in Africa, working with a number of the water utilities across Africa, and with AfWA to understand the needs and challenges so that we can identify the right kind of technologies. That partnership has been a very beneficial one, both for ourselves, for the water utilities and for the technology companies.
In parallel with the technical and institutional sessions, the Scientific and Technical Council offers an opportunity to discover the level of expertise of the suppliers of equipment for the sector, in particular the piping used for water pipes. A field visit was therefore carried out at a premises in Interplace, Ghana, with the participants of the CST. In recognition of the role of women in water and sanitation, a network of professional women in the water sector was established in 2016 at the Nairobi Congress in Kenya, with the main aim of encouraging all member countries to set up their local committees for professional women. The AfWA now includes the networks of Côte d'Ivoire, Kenya, Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Ghana, and Nigeria. The Accra meeting provided an update on the status of its activities. This network intends to contribute effectively to the search for solutions for total access to water for African women.
C'est un grand moment de portage. Les grandes questions sont débattues.
This is a great moment of sharing. Important issues were discussed here, including the development of our African water companies, a great moment of sharing as an innovation at the moment. During these last 2 years, we have been able to set up networks of professional women in water and sanitation. Currently, all participating countries are in the process of setting up their local committees.
Tous les pays participants sont en train de mettre en place leurs comités locaux. Les questions d'eau, les femmes sont au premier
For water
plan.
issues, women are at the forefront. It is the women who are in the kitchens, the women who are in contact with the water daily. When the child is sick, it is the woman who has to bring her to be treated. So the questions of water are crucial, and women are necessarily ahead because they are the first to be involved.
Parce qu'elles sont les premières interpellées.
The 78th Scientific and Technical Committee of the AfWA is scheduled for November in Bamako as a prelude to the 19th International Congress of the African Water Association, which will be held in the Malian capital in February 2017 and whose theme is Improving Access to Sanitation and Water for All in Africa in the Face of Climate Change. At least 1,500 delegates are expected to attend this intercontinental meeting.